Hi everyone, back at my YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a match preview for Newcastle United's early kickoff this Saturday against Spurs at St James's Park. 12:30 kickoff. Can't wait for this one. It's going to be a really, really good game, especially for the neutrals. Maybe not so much for Newcastle fans, depending on what Spurs shows up. But we're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. Talk about the lineup. Talk about how I think the lads are going to set up. About Spurs, about the danger men, and what we think the score is going to be as well. Just before we do, a little gentle reminder, as we always say, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. We'd love you to come and join us. We're over 7,000 subs now, so we're buzzing to have hit that milestone in such a short period of time of being evermore. Loads of room for you guys. Recommend us to family and friends. It's all free content. If you do want to give a little back to the channel, there is a membership option down there. You get early access to videos and little goodies and prizes every now and again. So smash whichever button suits you best, and let's get stuck right into the Spurs game then. So yeah, this is not going to be an easy game at all. Just for reference, even though Ange Postecoglou says, no, mate, I'm not bothered, mate. They're fourth in the table. Great impression, eh? I'm racking them up. They're fourth in the table on 60 points, so they're way ahead of us. We're sitting in eighth on 47. So Spurs are kind of doing what we did last season. And really good players in their squad. Harry Kane, yes, he left in the summer, but doesn't seem to have damaged them a great deal. They play some great football. I'm a massive fan of Ange. I really am. He's probably up there with my favourite Australians next to Hugh Jackman and a certain Margot Robbie as well, but for obviously different reasons, Ange, than I like Margot Robbie. But yeah, he's a fantastic manager. I love his kind of straight down the middle way of talking to the journalists and everything else as well. He was very complimentary about Newcastle in his press conference just a week or so ago, but I hope you get beat on Saturday. And so let's get stuck in then. How do I think the lads are going to line up? This is what we have gone for. Pretty much no choice, really, is that, in all fairness. It's the walking wounded yet again. I won't go through the list of injuries because this video will be about 2 hours long. But this is how I think we'll line up. Pretty much the same, except for Joe Willock, who was missing through injury when he limped off against Fulham. So we're going for Dubravka in goal. Emil Kraft continues at right back. So I don't think Tripp is going to be fit in time. Fabian Schär and Dan Burn is that centre-back pairing who've done quite well of late. Lewis Hall continuing his berth as a left-back. And I think, to be fair, he's really, you know, showing everybody what he's capable of doing. We've been screaming out for him all season. He's looked really good there. I'm very interested to see how well he does against Spurs and some of the quality of their players as well. The midfield three is going to be Sean Longstaff and Elliot Anderson, the Geordie boys, flanking Bruno Guimaraes. And then up front, I'm going for that power three of Harvey Barnes on the left, Alexander Isak through the middle, and Anthony Gordon on the right-hand side. Now, Eddie might very well play the juicy one, Jacob Murphy, who got 2 goals in this fixture last season, if you remember, the 6-1 mauling of Spurs. We'll get into that in a second. And he might have Harvey Barnes as an impact player. But as I said on What's Going On, we'll have to have these three, in my opinion, to start the game. You have to be in control and in front in games, not chasing shadows. And against a team like Spurs, who are playing some good stuff this season, we have to really try and take control of the game. So I think we have to play the best attacking front three that we have available to us, and that is those three lads right there. But yeah, talking a bit about this fixture last season, good God, what a game that was. 6-1, if you don't remember. We were 5-0 up within half an hour. 2 goals from Jacob Murphy, one in the 2nd minute, one in the 9th. Then Joe Linton, who's just signed a new contract, buzzing about that one. 6 minutes he scored. Then Alexander Isak gets 2, 19 and 21st minute. If you remember, one of them was from that unbelievable outside of the foot pass from Joe Willock. Then Harry Kane scored just after half time on 49 minutes. And then Callum Wilson added the 6th for the 67th minute. Still one of my favorite YouTube clips of all times. That was Expressions having an absolute meltdown over. I do actually like Expressions. I think he's quite good humor and good entertainment, to be fair. But I love that clip when he was having a meltdown. We were 5-0 up in 20 minutes. It was probably the most ruthless Newcastle United performance I've seen since the Keegan era. It was incredible. I'm not sure this fixture is going to go that way, mind you, because this is a very different Spurs we are talking about. So speaking of Spurs and speaking of the team news for Spurs, so looking at them, they're pretty much full strength, in all fairness. They're missing ex-Newcastle goalkeeper Fraser Forster, who's got a damaged foot, Ryan Sessegnon with a hamstring, Solomon with a knee, and they're going to be a late fitness test on Richarlison, who, depending on which Richarlison shows up, he's either brilliant or shit. So he may be there, he may not be. You know, they're maybe rotating that midfield. They've got loads to choose from: Bentancur, Højbjerg, Lo Celso and Basuma and Sarr as well. But the danger men really are James Maddison and especially Son up front as well. So this is how I think Spurs are probably going to line up. Vicario, Pedro Porro, who looks brilliant at right back. Romero, who's a red card waiting to happen if you get under his skin. Hopefully Alexander Isak can do that. Van der Ven, who's lightning quick, so be interesting to see how Isak does against him. Udogie, who again is a great player, goes back and forth in that 4-1 mauling that we had down at Spurs Stadium. He was brilliant in that game. Bentancur, Basuma, Brennan Johnson, who again has really kicked on this season. James Maddison, who's a real danger player. Timo Werner, who seems to have had a new lease of life at Spurs, and obviously Son up front. Now, Son is the danger man. We all know what he's capable of. He plays with pace, can cut inside, can cut outside, can score with either foot, and he's just such a dangerous player. Just to give you a bit of an insight into how he's doing this season, he's got 15 Premier League goals and 9 assists and 28 appearances. He's a fantastic player. And James Maddison is the one who makes it all happen. 21 appearances, 4 goals and 7 assists for Spurs. But listen, our front three there can compete against them in numbers. Alexander Isak, has got 15 Premier League goals. Anthony Gordon's in double digits. Even Harvey Barnes has got 4 goals. He's never played. So our front three is just as dangerous to them than they are to us. To be honest with you, they'll be worried about Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, and Alexander Isak in particular. So if you're given the ball, that midfield can make it happen for them. And I think Elliot Anderson's been excellent since he's come back from injury, and Bruno Guimaraes looks like he's right bang at it again. Sean Longstaff, again, he's not really in form. We could do with a real lung-busting game from Sean, where he just has one of them games he pulls out of his arse. He looks fantastic. We could really do with that at the weekend. But this is not going to be an easy fixture at all for Newcastle United, because Spurs are right up there, and rightly so, in 4th position. James Maddison is a player I never shied away from how much I admired him. I wanted him in the summer. I was quite annoyed Newcastle couldn't get that deal done. In my opinion, for this game, though, he shouldn't be playing. He punched a guy in the stomach last week. They are absolutely fucking shocking. Should have given him a red card. He should be suspended for this game. But he is playing, and he will be a dangerous player for us to deal with, so we're going to have to be right at it. We're going to need that midfield to close him down, close down the space. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Lewis Hall, in terms of who pulls on him, whether it'll be Son pulling that wide, or whether it be Werner, or whether it be Johnson. Johnson's rapid as well. So if Lewis Hall can deal with him, and Kraft can deal with either one of those two, whichever flank they're playing on. Johnson normally hugs the left-hand side, so he'll be up against Kraft, and Werner maybe pull out to the right. So Hall might have a better chance against Werner than Johnson, but they can switch wings, and Son can play through the middle, or he can pull out wide. And obviously Maddison finds those little pockets of space. We could do with Bruno sorting him out, but the danger is Bruno and Gordon are walking that tightrope. This is the last game for both Bruno and Gordon to avoid that yellow card ban. So if Bruno avoids a yellow card in this game, he won't get that suspension. But I have a bad feeling he may have to go right through the back of James Maddison at some point and probably get a well-deserved yellow card. But yeah, this is going to be a really tricky game for Newcastle. When we were doing our fixtures in terms of where we thought we were going to finish at the season end, I didn't call this one as a win. I thought it was going to be a defeat. Now, I watched as Nick and Rob a win off Fulham at the weekend. We weren't great. We've had 3 games in close proximity, against West Ham, showed great resilience coming back, winning 4-3 against a decent West Ham side who have give Spurs a good game this season. Everton, we were shocking in that game. We drew 1-1, started all right and then faded away. Fulham shit in the first half and then dug in and, managed to rob it 1-0. So 3 very different games. So I'm not sure what Newcastle is going to show up for this game. I really am not. I hope it's one that's buoyant, one that's on the front foot, one that wants to go at Spurs and remembers what happened in the 6-1 last season. If you go at this slot and you get right in their faces from minute 1, which is why we should play that front 3, you could be 3 or 4 goals to the good. You just don't know. And there's no reason why Newcastle can't go at this game with that kind of vigor and that kind of intensity right from the jump. Again, we owe them one because they smashed us 4-1 at the Spurs Stadium. So be a very interesting game. But my heart says that Newcastle United are going to get a draw in this game, either 1-1 or 2-2, because there is goals in it for both teams. Or my head says Spurs will win 2-1. I can't really split the two, so I'm going to go with the heart because why not? We're a Newcastle channel. I'm going to say Newcastle United get a draw 1-1 on Saturday. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think about that game, about the fixtures, about the lineup. Do we think we're right? Is that how we're going to line up? Who's the danger man for Spurs for you? Am I right? Is it Son and Maddison? Or do you think the lads will be able to handle them quite easily? We always like to hear from you. Smash a comment in. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, smash subscribe, come and join us. We're over 7,000 subs now. Loads more room for loads of you guys. Would love to get to 10,000 if we could, within the next year. It'd be an unbelievable achievement for me and Mark on the channel. So yeah, click whichever option suits you best, guys. All free content, but there's a member option too if you want to give a bit back to the channel. We'll be back, and I'll be back with a post-match analysis from the Spurs game on Saturday, win, lose or draw. So make sure you join me. Have a cracking day wherever you are, everybody. Away the lads for the weekend, and we'll catch you later. Cheers.